Welcome to the Green Fork Food for Thought podcast. Today, my guest is Mike Verschelden. He is the owner of On the Move Fitness in Clifton Park, New York. He's one of the hardest working men I know, and he's a true inspiration to so many people in the area. He creates a fun team environment in his gym and is always lifting everyone up all around him. And so I'm happy to have him. He's a motivator through and through and just all around great guy. So thanks for being here today, Mike.
Dude, my pleasure. This is awesome. I've only been on a few podcasts, but I was excited driving up here, coming in the middle of the woods. Not knowing where I was going, but thinking about our conversations, where we've been, and excited just to chat it up with you.
Yeah. Well, we've had so many conversations on our own, and we're like, damn, these should be recorded. People need to hear this stuff. Just good stuff. So let's just get started. And why don't you just tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started in fitness and all that?
Yeah, dude, it goes back. I mean, I've always been, like, growing up as a kid, I was always active, always into sports, played baseball through high school, played basketball, played at the collegiate level. And that's where I really found my love for just, like, challenging myself, like trying to be better on the field, trying to get my name up there, try to earn a starting spot as a pitcher.
You played baseball?
Yeah, played baseball at Hudson Valley for 2 years, which was awesome. It was a good experience at Joe Bruno Stadium, dude. It was like, for Division III JUCO college, like, dude, we had it made. We had freaking clubhouse. We had, the batting cages inside. It was like a dream. So like, that was like playing like D1 ball compared to, for like normal, let's say Division III schools. Yeah. So, I mean, as far as my background with always been in athletics, always had a drive to just be better and challenge myself, which then once I went to Brockport, actually I got recruited to play. It ended up didn't panning out. Essentially, I got cut from the team at the very end of my, let's say, essentially like the tryout, which was I got right to the final end, right before fall ball finished. And then that was kind of like the catalyst into fitness for me. So it was like, it kind of propelled me in because I was pretty down in the dumps. I was like, all I've ever known is identifying as an athlete, playing sports, and just kind of being, a part of a team. And then I was like, all right, now what do I do? So I put my energy, my focus from sports into, let's say, the gym. Didn't really know what to do with myself. I'm like, all right, I'm used to team workouts, doing this and that. And started hitting the gym. Dude, I'm 6'2", probably about $165 soaking wet. Small dude trying to get in the gym. I couldn't do a single pull-up. And it was really challenging for me to, I'd say, kind of like get motivated, drive myself, because I'm just used to, like I said, being a part of a team.
Having a coach to help push you and all that,
Exactly. So once I lost that, I kind of lost myself a little bit. But then I refound myself actually inside the gym. I pushed myself, and then I started seeing some gains, started getting into lifting some weights, started essentially just starting to see myself put on some muscle. It was like the coolest thing in the world.
Feels good.
Like you start seeing the gains, and like you start seeing yourself in the mirror, like, oh, I'm looking different, I feel strong. I was like, okay, I'm going to just kind of keep with this. I don't know what else to do. And then essentially one of my roommates, I feel like I inspired one of my roommates to actually hit the gym. He's a kid who's never been, he was like that kid who got like a D- in gym.
Walking the mile and stuff.
Barely, like, just couldn't even get changed. And he was that type of guy. He was kind of watching me, I say, like, see some strength gains, notice my confidence lift back up. And he's like, dude, like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just hitting the gym. So he's like, can I come with you? I was like, absolutely, dude. Like, come with me, just see what it's about. And I kind of like was coaching him while I was teaching myself fitness at the same time. So like, I fell in love with watching the process of someone else also lift up their energy, their spirit, their light. So I was like, I didn't realize this until probably a couple of years ago. I'm like, where did this actually start? Because all I've known is, training people for the last, let's say, almost 9 years coaching people. I was like, where did this actually originate? And I remember it was my roommate Chris, and I watched him transform, and he just became a whole new person. I'm like, I was a part of his journey, the get up. So like, that's what really inspired me to actually help and push other people. And then let's just say, long story short, like fast forward 10 years, almost 10 years, I've been coaching people day in, day out. I run a fitness facility. I've had the company for 5 years, On the Move Health and Fitness in Clifton Park. And we help almost 80 people. You know, that's what our membership is at right now, as far as like close to 80 people. And we coach, you know, people, everyday people, whether it's sports performance or adult fitness, to lose weight, feel better, build muscle, and just live life pain-free to get back to, you know, what they want to do. So somewhere in between there was a lot of, I say trial and error with my own journey, but at the same time, yeah, dude, it's just that's basically summarize it.
You just fell in love with helping people get better.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And then also like the learning process to me, I'm also a fitness coach, you know, so the learning process is super important. I know you're really into that because you do seminars all the time. You go and travel and have like different coach groups that you're in, but you're actually starting one up here locally, which is really cool. I want to talk about that, but, you know, just that process of continually learning and then sharing that knowledge is like, it feels so good. It's unmatched, you know?
Absolutely.
And like you said, watching people grow with this knowledge, and yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, the coolest part about it is, like, the field of, I say, exercise science is still fairly new.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's cool about it is, since, like, let's say, the days like Arnold, like, the 70s and 80s when bodybuilding was really coming up, like, that was a lot of my inspiration in college. Like, after I stopped playing baseball, I really started hitting the gym. I got more into, like, a bodybuilding phase.
Yeah.
And watching Pumping Iron, watching Arnold and like Louis, is like just watching what they're doing. I'm like, well, this is cool. Because like, also, I've always been that tall, skinny kid who just like, I remember one of my coaches back in the day was like, called me mosquito bites. He's like, mosquito bites. I was like, oh, it's about my bicep.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like it crushed me a little bit inside. But I was like, all right, whatever, dude. So like,
you got to use that as fuel.
I use that as fuel. So I was like, all right, let me show you what's up.
Yeah.
So like I put on, I mean, at my peak, so like put it in perspective, I was probably about 165 pounds soaking wet when I stopped playing ball, and once I got into the weight room. And then at my peak, at the end of college, I was probably about 215,
Nice.
220. So that's a lot of weight, dude.
And you did a bodybuilding competition, didn't you?
Yeah, in 2018, yep.
Yeah? What was that like?
Well, I wouldn't do it again.
No, yeah.
In my opinion.
It's intense, right?
It's intense. The training was great. It was a lot of fun. It was basically, I took about 6 months in total to prep. It was more of like a 3-month surplus to kind of build up and kind of just like build my base as far as my strength, my physique, to put on a little bit more weight, and then about a 3-month, I say, cut.
Yeah.
So the cardio was intense. The nutrition was absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
Everything was.
You have to be real dialed in.
Dude,
Yeah.
you got to be dialed in. Like my sleep, like I remember going to bed at 10:30 every single night. I was up at 7.
Yeah.
Like non-negotiable. 7 days a week.
Eating a bowl of protein or whatever.
Yeah, dude, just straight bowl of protein.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, my go-to was, this is probably a little questionable thinking about it now. I can't even think about it actually, but it was like tuna fish right out of the packet.
Yeah.
I would mash up egg whites, salsa, salt and pepper.
Yeah. That sounds like a bodybuilder meal right there.
Sounds disgusting.
Yeah, but that's protein. That's like 60 grams of protein right there.
That was it.
You got to just get it in.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the information that we have as far as like exercise science in the mainstream, but we see a lot of it comes from bodybuilding, right? Like all the sets of 10, three sets of 10, you know, try to hit one body part at a time, which I feel like is good if you're training for bodybuilding. But you do a lot more of like total body workouts and rotational plane movements and, you know, things that actually strengthen the body for a specific purpose, not just for big muscles.
Yeah, I realized after going through the bodybuilding phase that I was like, all right, I'm getting pretty stiff. I'm getting pretty like, my joints are actually talking to me.
Yeah.
And then I kind of circled back to more of my athletic days where I was like, all right, I want more full body, like you said, rotational power, like things that are functional, because my clientele who was training is like, all right, they just want to be fit for like the weekend warrior, dude. They have like a laundry list of things to get done over the weekend. They would want to get out and play some rec league games like golf, pickleball, whatever, be functional for their families, pick up their grandkids, whatever. So it's like, that's why I really started to transition back into that phase. But that's how I coach a lot of people. That's how also I train as well.
Yeah.
So it's a nice mix. So it helps me coach my clients. Like I test my product all the time.
Yeah, on yourself.
I test it. Like I'll be doing our training, what I'm programming for my people. like I'll test it out, even though my training's a little bit different.
Sure.
But I still kind of put myself into someone else's shoes. Like if I know someone's got, you know, a banged up knee, and I'm trying to like almost immerse myself into what this exercise is going to feel like for them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's a lot of what our training is based upon, is more total body. When we say quote unquote functional, right?
Yeah.
It's more like building conditioning into the sets.
Yep.
Stuff that's safe. We're not really throwing bars over our head. We're landmine pressing, squatting, deadlifting. You're pushing, pulling, carrying stuff. Like people got to carry their groceries, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think there's obviously something to gaining strength overall, but working the mobility into it as well. And I feel like just being more well-rounded. General population, people don't need to be squatting 350 pounds or whatever. Unless that's your goal. If you want to get there, I'm sure you can help them get there. But
right.
You know, for most people, they just want to, like you said, live a good life and be able to move, play with their kids, play some sports, whatever. So, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that bodybuilding stuff still, people just, that's where they start, right? And hey, it's better than nothing. But like in reality, you should be training multiplanar movements. You should be definitely working mobility. I mean, I know I struggle to teach my people about mobility. I taught a yoga class yesterday, like 2 people showed up.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just basic mobility stuff, but that stuff is super, super important. You can't just do all strength all the time. You'll be all show, no go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like that. I like that too, that mentality. Like you're big on like the animal flows, like which I always jive with. Like you and I, like we nerd out on this stuff. And like we like the animal flows, like the mobility is such a big component of the training. People don't realize like when you're stretching, like a strength exercise is stretching, you're loading the tissue, right? So a strength exercise, like a stretch, or like a squat, for example, like you're stretching the quads, like you're lengthening, you're shortening. So it's like you're going through that mobility pattern. But if people don't have the prerequisites, they don't have the ankle, you know, mobility to get into a squat, like their hips are going to suffer, their back's going to suffer, shoulders might roll forward. So it's like we factor a lot of that mobility into our sessions too. For sure.
Yeah. Do you do any like kind of phases? Like, do you do like a power phase, a strength phase, a conditioning phase, or is it kind of all rolled into one?
Yeah. So a lot of our athletes, like our college guys are coming back right now. Like we have like a 12-week program where they're going through, let's say like a power phase, their strength phase, and then they're kind of hitting more sport specific stuff, getting ready for their season. But with, let's say the adult fitness group and like general pop, like I sprinkle a lot of that in throughout our programming. So like, for example, like we've been running through like a 4-week cycle where I have like a 12-week, let's say, program laid out. I kind of break it into 4 blocks where if people are consistent, they see the progression where the beginning is a little more powerful, and they go into more of a strength block, and then a little bit more emphasis on like conditioning, for example. So we sprinkle that in, like, because everyday life, that demand is going to be there. It's going to be needed. So we kind of like just throw just little bits and pieces in most sessions. Yeah.
I think you and I were talking one time about how fun it is to write programs, and you know, and like having the constraint of working with a certain population and their set of goals, but then also only having like 45 minutes to an hour for a class. Like, how can you squeeze all these things in just 45 minutes? And those constraints actually allow you to be more creative with the workouts and make it fun. And what I love about you and your gym is that it's so much fun. Like just watching your videos, and like when I go and see the layout and all the programs that you write up, you like to use a lot of alliteration and fun things, and I just love it. I think it's so great. But you create like that certain type of vibe at your gym that's, you know, it's really fun, and you can tell that you care by the programming that you produce.
Yeah, dude. Like I geek out on it, and like most people don't really care about it, but like we do behind the scenes.
It's cool.
Like you said, like the alliterations, like like our system really for group training is like we have our F4 system, right? We play each game, or each workout as a game, I should say, rather. Where it's like the first quarter we flow, we go through like a 10-minute mobility series. We're flowing, we're just feeling good, getting the joints ready. Quarter 2 we fly, we call it like our ramp up, like we're kind of like the airplane starting to take off, getting the rocket fuel going. And then quarter 3 is where we fight. That's mostly our strength blocks. kind of fighting the good fight, hitting the main event. That's really what we're doing let's say the squats, the heavier stuff.
Yeah.
And then quarter 4 is where we got like a finisher in. There's some novelty too. Like people love a little bit of flash, a little bit of touch and go, where it's like they get some of that fresh ideas. There's some stuff that I'm doing that aren't in the programming. They'll see me do on my own Instagram reels or whatever. They're like, hey, I saw you do this thing. And I'm like, yeah, well, are we ready for it? Yeah, I don't know, but hey, let's try it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I like the idea of like playing little games as a finisher. Like I saw this one that I want to do where it's you take a tire or whatever, something, and then you have a line of like heavy objects and you have to run to the end, and so you have one person on each end, and whoever gets the weights back to all their weights back to the tire wins. And that stuff is great. I went to one of your anniversary celebrations, and you had like such a vibe in there, such high energy with a DJ, and like everybody's doing sled pushes and cheering each other on, and like, yeah, that's fun. It's fun. The good stuff.
And that's how it should be. I think training should be. We got a little visitor right here. What's up, puppy? Training should be fun, man. Like just like this dog chilling right here. Like she can come in the gym. We should be rocking it.
Be a good gym dog.
Gym dog right here on the lap. But you know, like that's part of it. Is like people, you know, have a lot of stress. They got a lot of things going on in their day to day. So it's like the gym should be your second home. You should have fun. You should feel good when you leave. Like you don't want to be more banged up than when you came in, right?
For sure. Yeah.
So kind of making it, I'd say, fun, making it interactive. Like even with our youth class, it's funny. So like CJ and I just we finished up a 8-week actually cycle for some youth athletics. And we were playing monkey in the middle of these kids. Yeah. So like we for the first like 30 minutes, like someone brought in like a Nerf football, and we like started throwing it around, and we have like just different games that we play with the youth guys, but like we would just like take some of those games and like bring into the adult fitness, and they're probably having more fun than the kids.
Oh yeah, they haven't played these games in years.
Right.
They're like, oh, I feel like a kid again.
Yeah, dude. Like movement is not, you know, it's not black and white. There's a lot of ways you can move. There's a lot of different ways you can perform a certain pattern. Yeah. Right? So we move in patterns and positions, but like it's just not black and white.
Yeah, you still have the fundamentals. It all still applies, but you're able to have fun with it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's how it should be.
I also think gym is a great place for community. You know, and you have a lot of people that come together and they socialize at the gym. I know I get the majority of my socialization as a coach working. I just do 2 days a week, but you know, I see people come in and go, people leave and go, and I've developed friendships and, you know, relationships out of that have just lasted for such a long time, and it's really a good thing.
Yeah, dude, I've been training some folks for 8-9 years since I started, and like that's it's the coolest part about the journey. I think about it sometimes. I'm like, where else can you have that type of relationship building environment like for your work, right? Where it's like you're in the gym, you get to socialize a little bit, you get to learn what people are doing their day to day, because you gotta know as a coach. If you're gonna be a good coach, you have to know what's going on in someone's life. Like they don't have to, you know, sometimes they pour it all out.
A lot of times
we know that.
Yeah, definitely.
But it does help us coach them better.
Yeah.
Right. It helps us actually know what's going on, like how to coach them if they haven't slept, if they got like 2.5 hours of sleep, and like we have a heavy 3-rep max or whatever on the schedule. Like we're probably not going to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know that I'm not the type of coach that like yells at people and pushes them super hard in that way, because I know that everybody's coming in with different needs or different restraints or whatever. Like you said, if they didn't sleep well, it's like, all right, well, just do the best you can with what you have, you know. So you have to know these people on an individual level and meet them where they're at, and you know, just try to coach them.
Absolutely. And that's part of the fun of it. Like you have to enjoy getting to know people and having that personality that wants to like be a go-giver. It's like I want to help you, and like them showing up for a lot of time. Like most people is like, that is a lot for them to get there. So it's like, we're service, man. Yeah. We got to help. And that's my drive. And like when I get people that genuinely care and they want to put their best foot forward, it's like coaching those people is like, it's night and day. Like I feel like I'm never working really.
Yeah. Yeah. But you are though. I mean,
we are for sure.
You work hard, dude. You work 12-hour days like every day.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to say like, there's a difference between like being in that, let's say, mode with someone where it's like you got some really awesome clientele that's like, okay, like this just doesn't feel like I'm doing anything. Yeah. Versus like, okay, working on the business and like coaching. Don't get me wrong, getting up at 4:30,
Yeah.
I already coached 26 people today. It's only noon.
Yeah.
And I'll coach another 10 tonight.
Yeah.
So like 35 to 40 people in a day. Yeah, it's taxing. Like you're moving around the room, you're working it.
And like you said, there's so many variables to always think about. So it's not all cookie cutter. You know, somebody shows up and they had a bad morning or whatever. Like you got to adjust for that, and you got to think on the fly. So it's a little more demanding than I think people understand it to be.
Oh, and I think that's a big misconception too. Is like how a lot of people view personal trainers and coaches like it's just like this side hustle. I'm like, you can make it a full-time gig 100% if you care enough.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of energy and effort that goes into it. And I've been fortunate enough to have had some awesome mentors. Luca Hostovar, Andy McCoy, Steve Krebs. Like, there's people that have been in my corner that have been doing it a long time that I've learned from, where it's like they're my inspiration to keep developing as a coach, keep learning the business side of things so I can deliver the best product possible.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, let's talk about that business side of things, because you opened your business and you'd worked prior in like a gym. Were you at Vent Fitness?
So when I first started coaching right out of college, I was at Best Fitness in 2016.
Yeah.
That was a short-lived stint. Then it was Vent Fitness from 2017 to 2019. And then I started On the Move, which was 2019 to now.
And you just moved right into a space and started.
So I'll try to keep this somewhat short. I'll give the brief synopsis because it is kind of an interesting story. So On the Move it was more residential fitness coaching. So what that means is I was going to bring our services, like our coaching programs, our personal training and group classes, into residential communities that had, a relatively nice gym, open gym. So think like River House Apartments in Schenectady, across from the casino.
Okay.
We were linked up together. I had a contract with them for about 2 months right before the pandemic hit. So essentially I would drive there to offer the classes on site 2 days a week. I would teach. I had like 10 to 12 people coming, and they had an awesome facility. So I would coach them up. It was something that was new. It was a little bit different, right?
Yeah, you're like a traveling coach.
Yeah, I was a fitness nomad, baby. Yeah. I was bringing it to the people.
Yeah, yeah.
So basically, I would travel over to them, and then, as soon as they get done with work, they had a gym, they had a coach, they had a professional waiting for them with a class.
It's a good deal.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they can kind of bypass a normal gym membership that they're maybe not using if they're going to Planet Fitness. Yeah. They're just getting their wallet chewed at a little bit each month. It doesn't faze them, but they actually have someone who's going to be holding them accountable, and they have a structured program that's catered to them.
Yeah.
So essentially, that was going really well for the first, let's say, from December of 2019 to March of 2020.
Yeah, when everything shut down.
So I was with 3 different locations, and that's where I was really trying to guide the business. I actually didn't want to have any overhead or have a brick and mortar gym.
Yeah.
I didn't really feel like investing into the equipment. I had a good, let's say, program, a good philosophy. I wanted to bring it to people. It was a little bit different. Mm-hmm. So to kind of backpedal a little bit, in the interim there while I was starting On the Move, I was also, I took my cousin's position. He was a personal trainer part-time at Global Foundries. He had left, he went to the police academy, and then I took his spot. So basically I kind of swooped in, part-time work there. I was teaching classes on site up in Malta, and then I was building On the Move. And then once the pandemic hit, March 2020, everything shut down. Yeah. All of my contracts went.
Yeah.
I had my personal training clientele. Global Foundries is international. They were on it really fast as far as just basically protecting everyone, right?
Yeah.
So we were out of the gym, and then I got all my contracts pulled. So I went virtually, and I was working out of a clubhouse for a year, which was the apartment complex I was living out of. So doing Zoom training classes, going to the park when it was nice. And as you know, in New York State, it's beautiful for,
Dude, that whole summer of the pandemic, I was lugging kettlebells and bands and dumbbells back and forth to the Saratoga State Park.
Right.
And I had a whole crew of people that would meet up at like 7 a.m. I did 2 classes in the morning, 2 in the evening. Yeah. It was great.
Dude, I would pack the Jeep up, same thing.
Yeah.
I went to Home Depot, I bought sandbags.
Yeah.
70 pounds right there. Weights weren't available, or it was like $2.50 a pound.
Yeah, it's crazy how that's skyrocketed.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, this is ridiculous. So I made do with the best I had. I ran a challenge, which was all online. I was kind of the first one to do it. In my opinion, I was doing all the Zoom stuff. I had like 60 people join a 28-day challenge. And then I retained a lot of those people through.
68 people? Wow, that's good.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. And then basically by that time I was just trying to save up enough where I was like, all right, I got to make a move. I can't just stay in this clubhouse for however long. And then I realized, I'm like, all right, I'm starting to run some numbers. I'm starting to speak with a real estate agent, see what I could do, see what was realistic, if there's some real estate in the area. I found a spot. Almost pulled the trigger on one spot that was off of, I think it was Route 50, which is in like near Burnt Hills area. Yeah. Almost pulled the trigger. I lost some money, let's just say, on a couple lawyer fees.
Oh, no.
We won't talk about that. But I'm glad it was a blessing in disguise. So, but I found the first location on the move, which was 217 Guy Board Road, which is near, if you guys are, for those that are listening, and near Fred the Butcher, off of Route 9, crossing the Half Moon Diner.
Great location.
It's a great location. Yeah. Because we got everywhere from Saratoga, Clifton Park, Mechanicville, Stillwater, Waterford, everywhere. Like we're kind of in that, like in the middle of the crosshair there.
Right on Route 9 too.
It's great. So then I finally had enough. I had like just enough amount of revenue built up to pay for my rent at my apartment, and then also rent at this space. And the real estate agent was like, I got one other guy looking at this. But you came first. Yeah. If you pull the trigger on this now, it's yours. I was like, all right, send it.
Let's go.
I put my boots down, started running, and now 3 years later, we expanded into the new location. We actually ran into some complications with the bank that was next door to us.
Oh yeah. They didn't like the loud music. Yeah.
They didn't like the loud music. They didn't like us that much. But
whatever.
Either way, so basically there was a space next door that in the plaza that we're in now that I was eyeballing, and we basically just kind of gave them the boot. They had a year left on their lease. They weren't really working out of it. They were just kind of using it for storage, if you will. Yeah. So we took over that space, and now we're into a 5,400 square foot facility.
It's a beautiful space, man. And you did a really nice job just putting all that equipment in there. You're always reinvesting. Yep. How do you think being a business owner changed your life? And I know that's a broad question, but I just know that I've learned so much about so many different aspects of life, like financials and taxes and all that crap. Like, it's a lot.
To summarize it, I'd say priorities.
Yeah.
If you want to have success or be successful, your priorities have to be in straight. And of course, like I've learned, we could talk all day about, as far as like bookkeeping and like CRM, software management, just all the things that people don't see that go into a gym business. I've learned a lot, and there's been a lot of trial and error.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, you encounter a problem, and then you research how you fix it, and then you use that new system. It's all about developing systems. Yeah. To try to be better moving forward. I think you and I over the years have talked about, like, I remember when you switched softwares, you switched to like Vagaro. Mm-hmm. But there's tons of stuff out there that just like, you're like, oh shit, I didn't know that. Boom, you get blasted. You were telling me you got hit with like some employee tax or something like that. I mean, we don't have to talk about it, but
that one sucked.
It's crazy. In New York State, like, you have to pay almost double what you pay your employee in just taxes and fees and payroll and all that stuff. It's kind of stupid.
5 years in now, I'm starting to finally gain traction on, like, let's say, running our numbers and seeing how things can be operationalized, if you will. Yeah. Having different people in my corner to do certain tasks has been a game changer. Like, you got to be doing everything in the beginning, but at the same time, like, if you got someone that you trust, you like, that can do it better, like, I'm all for it now. Yeah. That's something I struggle with is being in command. Is like, this is my baby. This is my business. And it's like when you have someone else essentially helping you do things or putting their inputs in that you might not agree with, but they might have more experience. Like, okay, you got to kind of like bite your tongue a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got to outsource where you can, right? Like, I know I didn't know how to build a web page. I've learned that over the years, and I've gotten software programs that are pretty user friendly for me. I'm not the biggest tech guy, but like on the back end, that's business. You have to know that stuff. So I outsourced to people that do know how to do that stuff. Taxes, finances, accounting. Like, I was pretty much all under the table for a while, just doing a lot of cash, putting it in my pocket, but that's not the way to do it. You gotta do it the right way. And I would much rather just hire out for an accountant for that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
But you learn as you go.
Oh, big time. I mean, like, I definitely had a few lessons, like, that's for sure. I mean, the biggest one, I just finally, I'm not legitimately paying for it. The one where I get hit with, I had the wrong policy number.
Oh, yeah.
For New York State disability and blah, blah, blah. And I got hit hard.
Yeah.
We paid for it.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's a stupid little thing like that where you're like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't even get me started on the taxes, the amount of taxes you have to pay, just self-employment tax and, all that crap. It's like they take half your money away when you're just trying to make a living, doing good work. Come on.
Yeah. So speaking of, like, I want to just kind of just drop this too, as far as like partnerships, like, obviously I'm on your podcast, like, we've had an awesome partnership and relationship. We've grown into good friends as well. Yeah. But at the same time, like, I thought, our dynamic, it's funny how I actually heard of you, Green Fork, and the meal prep service. One of my clients, who's actually my attorney, was like, dude, you got to check out this meal prep company. Like, it's all good. And
that was when you were first getting started, wasn't it?
First getting started. Yeah. I was probably in the gym for about maybe 6-7 months.
Yeah.
And then my client was like, hey, like, I'm ordering these meals. Like, it's saving my time, energy, money. It's good. It's quality. I'm like, all right, let me check that out. Like, that's something I've been thinking about doing is, like, I remember I went down to South Carolina with my parents for vacation way back. This is like when I was just getting into fitness. It's probably like maybe I don't know. Maybe it was further the freshman year. I don't know when it was. It's probably like 2014, 2015. I was working out. But at the same time, I walked into this gym. It was called Carolina Fitness. You walked in, there was a fridge, there was a menu, they had a smoothie bar. Yeah. And like I could see, like, you pick your protein, your veggie, your carb, and it's like you could put together these meals.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is genius.
It's great, right?
Like, you get done with your workout, you have a meal waiting for you.
Yeah.
Like, what gets better than that?
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah. A lot of places would do smoothies and stuff, but not like a full-blown kitchen with like real food. Yeah, that's always been my dream, actually, is to have like not just a gym, but like a wellness center with like, massage therapists, chiropractors, a full-blown Green Fork cafe with real food, smoothies. You got the gym in there, you got some martial arts, you got yoga, whatever, just like everything under the sun packed into one roof. It's a genius idea, but yeah, you and I have been great partners over the years, and it's thank you, because you've allowed me to branch out and hit people that I wouldn't be able to reach down in your area, and just you putting out your social media posts and just telling people about it. I think networking and having allies is like such a huge part of this thing, and just being in business. It is, and like that's why it's been awesome. I mean, like you're on top of it. The meals have great variety, have good taste. They have, it's so convenient. I'm telling you, like when I literally just got done eating one of your meals before I came up here, I was like, if I didn't have this on my day to day, I'm like, how would I be functioning? Like when we talk about outsourcing and delegating, I feel like a lot of people that like our clients, like you're training your clients too. It's like, what's the number one, let's say, issue they run into, roadblock? Yeah, it's mostly diet. It's diet. Yeah. And then also it's like, well, I got to go to the store. I have to think about what I have to eat, and then I have to actually go buy the products, and I'm spending money. And it's like, you make it convenient, you make it affordable, the meals taste great. Like, dude, it's a game changer. Yeah. So I'm definitely giving you a huge shout out here. It's like on your own podcast. That, man. Well, thank you. Makes sense, right? Yeah, man. And I've always appreciated you for that. But that's kind of how I got started in the first place, was being a personal trainer, having a background in nutrition, as well as being a chef for many years. I started working with my clients, and we run into that issue. I'm not really seeing any changes. Well, you're only seeing me once or twice a week for like an hour. That's not gonna be enough. First of all, you need to move more than when you're not with me. My whole philosophy around training is like, I'm here to teach you how to do it, so that eventually you can leave me and you can do it on your own. I've never been one to like want to keep someone for that long, because I feel like if you have to do that, then you're not doing your job. Yeah. And there's some people that need that constant long-term accountability and coaching, and that's fine. I'm here for them too. But anyways, they don't have the time, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have whatever to get their diet in point. So I was like, all right, I'll just cook for you. And I started doing these pre-portioned meals for them, pretty simple stuff. And then that blew up to like a large scale. Like I was working for a gym that had 7 different gyms in Tucson, Arizona. And that was back when those 6-week challenges were big. You know? Lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks. Not good, but I was the meal prep guy for all that. So it's like, you know, it just makes sense, you know, and to be in a gym environment, it's like the perfect collaboration.
Dude, and that's why you've expanded and grown since we first started too. I mean, the business seems like it's flowing. We got you're in multiple gyms, not just ours, which is great. And like if you're in this industry, just like how we are to help people, it's like we know the real of like we know the supplements are there just to aid, right? Yeah. The blocks, the bricks, the foundation is laid on your nutrition, your sleep, your stress management, and then training starts to flutter in too. Yeah. I think training's a big component of it, but like that's what we nerd out on too is like, but the real stuff that works is not flashy. Right. You know what I mean?
Go for a walk, 30 minutes. Like that's not flashy. You're not gonna post that on Instagram or whatever, but it works. Will. Yeah, you do. You post everything. But yeah, I think it's great, like, to have a coach that's not just in it for their own personal gain or their own money. You're here to actually help people. And what actually helps people is not just training in the gym. It's nutrition, it's sleep, it's mental health, it's financial security, some sort of spiritual aspect too. Those are like the 5 pillars of health that I have with Green Fork. But I feel like every good coach or trainer or whatever should be talking about those things.
Yeah, every single person should be, but also like we stay in our lane too. Yeah. Like we give, you know, we're not registered dietitians by any means, so it's like I don't have that capability to, you know, put together a program or like a meal plan for someone. Yeah. But I can outsource some really good stuff where it's like I always suggest like our fridge is full every week, which is awesome because people are actually training hard. They're putting quality foods into their body. And then we're also kind of like the ninja around the tactical approach so they can recover well their sleep. Like what does that stress management look like? And training is a big part of the stress management. But man, if you're not eating the right things, you're not putting in the right stuff in your body, like it's going to be really hard to make change.
For sure. It's a 4 or 5 prong attack that you have to have, and it takes a lot of discipline.
Like a fork that's green.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. I saw one, I heard one on the radio and I immediately thought of you. It was like the 5 P's or something. It was like poor preparation promotes, man, I can't think of it, but it was like, it was good.
Piss
poor performance. Yeah.
There it is.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, man, you gotta have it all. You gotta leave a fully holistic lifestyle. But I'm also, you know, I just saw somebody talking about like, never riding highs or lows and always trying to stay in the middle. And I don't know if I really agree with that. I feel like life should be lived fully. So like if you have a low, don't let it beat you up. You know, we learn this as coaches and you see it in the gym all the time. You see it in business. That's like the biggest part for me is like, oh shit, my bank account's getting low. You know, what I gotta do? Just ride through it, you know? And so don't let the lows get you too much. But when you get it high, like ride it, you know? Live life, experience it.
Dude, I think that's one thing I really appreciate about you too, that kind of brings me down to earth a little bit more. Not to get sentimental, but like more like bro to bro. Like I do, my mentality is like I go hard. I love what I do. I train, but like sometimes I don't remove myself where you're really good at finding your flow and then like coming out of it, you know, let's say, hey, let's go hit the golf course. Let's go. Yeah. You know, I'm going to go do this thing I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to go do a Tough Mudder or a Spartan race to like get out of my work realm so you can come back and be better inside, let's say, the work cycle, right? Yeah. Something I've always appreciated about you for sure because I struggle with that.
Oh, dude, burnout is real. Yeah. You know, if you spend all day, every day doing the same thing, you're going to get burnt out. And it's just the way it is. So I like to try to find, you know, it's not all the time, but I like to try to find little moments where I can kind of sneak out and do something for myself. This last round of 75 hard was a good reminder of that because, as you know, it's like 2 workouts a day. It's a pretty strict regimen. You have to stay real dialed in for what, 3.5 months, something like that. And during that time, I was like, man, this is not sustainable. I can't keep doing this. So I ended up doing a lot of yoga, a lot of stretching, a lot of walking, and I would count that kind of stuff. You know, if I went out and did a round of golf by myself and I walked, I'll count that. You know, and it's like these little things that help you kind of recharge. But yeah, super, super important, man. So what do you do to prevent that burnout?
Nowadays, dude, like, hey, we're going golfing on Thursday.
Yeah.
We better get some sunshine, bro.
I hope so. The last time we went, it was wet.
Yeah, it was. It was coming down. But golf has been my number one. Just getting out. I get out in nature. I get to move. I get to stay competitive. Like, that's what fuels me up. I like to, honestly, I mean, that's been the main thing right now. I used to kind of take the four-wheeler out down to my parents' house. Like, I grew up in the country, so it's like we had four-wheelers, we had snowmobiles. Like, kind of just getting completely out of the gym has been, honestly, just anything has been good. Something with movement, hiking, moving up and down. Like, the mountain feels good. It's like being in nature is something that helps me.
Totally recharging.
Yeah. 100%.
And like, you know, you and I were both active guys, so it's not like every once in a while I'll spend like a slow morning on the couch if I can get it, which is rare. But, you know, it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be totally like just relaxing and being a lazy couch guy for the day. It can, you know, you got to get out and move still, but it's that active recovery, and that's part of like what we were talking about before. You know, you can't go hard all the time. You can't burn the candle at both ends. You gotta take time to recharge, and that's where that like mobility or yoga comes into play. You know, stuff like that. Yeah,
like I said, I would say building the business in the last 4 to 5 years, being in the gym. Like, I think about like anywhere from 60 to 80 hours a week, if not more, dude. Like, between building it, coaching people. Like, I just need to separate myself. I've been doing a little bit of a better job doing that, but golf in the summertime is like my escape. I get outside, I do it, and but yeah, you have to. I'm rarely on the couch.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe like a Friday night, get some takeout, whatever. Come home, put a movie on. Like, I'm good. That's all I need. So.
Oh yeah. So there's always one question that I ask everybody, all my guests, and that is, if you had one last meal, if you were on death row and you had one last meal coming to you, it could be anything to eat, drink, whatever you want, smorgasbord if you want it, what would it be?
Last meal. Smorgasbord, you said?
It could be whatever you want.
Okay.
It could be mom's spaghetti,
dude.
Arms weak, arms heavy.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
It's gonna be the entire, let's say, palette of breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I'm talking like French toast, chocolate chip pancakes. Give me the works when it comes to like an omelet, sausage links, bacon, croissants, whatever. Like, anything breakfast related, my go-to. Like, if I was up in space, I had like those meals that are like in the
like freeze-dried.
Yeah, the freeze-dried meal. Yeah, I'd still pick breakfast foods.
Yeah.
All day.
Wonder what a freeze-dried egg would taste like.
Probably terrible. Yeah. But I'd eat it anyway.
Yeah. That's mine too, actually. Yeah, it would be blueberry pancakes, fresh blueberry pancakes, some 2 eggs over easy, sausage patties, a fat steak, glass of orange juice, and a nice tall beer. Hash browns. Yeah, dude. Nice cold beer.
Oh yeah, I love a beer. Oh yeah.
You're not drinking these days, are you?
I'm not. That's the thing. I committed to a full year off.
A full year?
Full year.
Yeah, nice.
And still going strong with it. It's my 30th birthday in July last year. I decided, I was like, you know what? First off, I partied. You know, I had fun. We had fun. We took the boat out, had friends, drank pretty much all day. It was good. And then I was like, I'm going to commit to a year off.
Yeah.
Just challenge myself. And I feel good. Mental clarity is the best it's ever been. Yeah. The business is the best it's ever been.
Yeah.
It's like there's a correlation there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I talk about this a lot too. I'm not sober, but I mean, I don't party like I used to, but I enjoy some beers if I'm playing golf or whatever. But I do notice a difference, a big difference, especially the next day. It just affects my sleep, and then I wake up a little groggy, and then it's just harder to get the day going, you know, and I'm always kind of in a deficit. But when I was not drinking, I just recently did like 90 days, and I felt great. It was amazing. Despite the fact I was doing the 75 hard stuff, so I was tired in that regard. But the hangovers just hurt more than they used to.
Oh, it just hurts different, dude. I don't know how to really describe it. You just don't. And like that's the thing. I love a good beer too. Like I appreciate one. Like I love like a nice golden beer. It just tastes good. Like I'm still tempted to like have one here and there, but like I look at the risk versus reward right now, and I'm like it probably won't be a forever thing. But at the same time, like I just notice my focus is better, and just like the clarity of mind and where I'm going is where it's at right now.
Yeah. But, do you have any like specific goals you're working towards right now? Like any kind of athletic event? I know you did High Rocks before.
Yeah, High Rocks was cool. I like to train in that fashion. I think it's very challenging and demanding on your body where you have this hybrid of strength and then you also have the conditioning component to it. But I am currently not. If anything, I would do another High Rocks event for sure. Yeah. But in the state I'm in right now is more stress management. And coaching my people. Like I'm doing probably like a 2 to 4 days, and it's kind of a wide range, but guaranteed 2 days of strength, and then I'll fill in with right now is a run for a conditioning day, and then more like a circuit-based conditioning. Yeah. So one a little more high intensity, one a little more lower intensity.
So you're doing more kind of just like maintenance, whatever.
Maintenance work. Yeah. I just do it to feel good.
Yeah.
Right now.
You gotta try some yoga classes, man. That helps with the stress management.
Yeah, I do. I love yoga. I was doing hot yoga for quite a bit actually. I haven't been in a while, but I would like to get back into the swing of things. Come up and take one of your classes.
You should, man. You should. And my class is I like to do the Primal Flow class, which is a little more active and engaging, but the type of class that I like, especially for stress management, is just a chill class, man. It's not super hot. Yeah. And we're not doing anything crazy. It's just like stretching, relaxing, breathing, and just tuning into your body, which I think you probably have experience with just being, being a fitness enthusiast. You like know how to tune into one muscle if you're trying to work it, which is, it's hard to teach people, right? Like as a coach, you're like, no, you really have to know what you're doing here. So if you know what you're doing, yoga can be amazing, and it's just about breathing, relaxing, and taking that time for yourself.
It takes you to a different space. Like I've been, let's say, intentionally breathing. I guess you can call it meditating. Yeah. Where I'll do like bouts of 10 minutes where I'll lay on my back, my feet are up on a bench, I'm at a 90-degree angle right there, and I just shut the lights down. I put on something soothing in the background, and instead of trying to guide my thoughts, I just let them be.
There you go, man.
That's all it is.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's crazy. You can actually just you separate your mind from the body, even though we know they work together, but just try to actually remove all the thoughts that are could be creating chaos in your mind when you're stressed out, or even if you're feeling good, like you said, like kind of riding the highs and the lows, try to bring yourself back to center. Yeah. And I think yoga is great for that, and meditation.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel like I've incorporated that so much into like every day that it's just like my mentality now. Yeah. Where I don't let things affect me all that much. Mm-hmm. In business, I'm making mistakes all the time. Somebody got the wrong order, somebody's missing this or whatever, and I get emails that are like, hey, where's my stuff? Angry emails. I'm like, okay, we'll fix it. It's like not giving into the stress. Don't let it crush you.
Yeah, and that's a big part of, I think, life in general, and I think what training does and moving our body does, and we know this, is just that you can, let's say, get through more stressful times much more easily. Yeah. Right? And that's what a big component of training, I think, people miss is like, what is this training doing for me besides like the aesthetics? I feel like a lot of people still are kind of in that stuck of like, they get into it because I want to lose 20 pounds because I want to look this way, which is a great motivator to start. But like, what is this actually going to help you do? What is this going to allow you to, how is it going to allow you to function? Yeah. Right? And like dealing with your everyday stressors at work, and you handle them better because the endorphins rush, and you get that feel-good motion. It's like you're creating a more resilient mindset when you train your body. Yeah. So it's like I've always thought, and I've always, I'd say realized this when it comes to like, I'm feeling stressed out in my mind, I get into my body. Yeah. Right? Oh, yeah. Or to get out of your mind, you got to get into your body. Yeah. And that's my philosophy for sure. It's like movement. But then there's also kind of the other side of it, where it's like if too much movement and you're already stressed up, it could make things worse.
Yeah, you have to be intentional about what you're doing.
Right. Yeah. And I've just now, I think after, let's say, training myself for about 15, 16 years now. I wouldn't say I've mastered it by any means, but I'm much better at recognizing when I need a workout to pick me up.
Yeah.
Versus, let's say, one that will actually, if I go hard in the paint, like I think it's going to pick me up, but it actually does the opposite. I get sick, or I go down the other way. My sleep isn't on point. So I've learned to, let's say, tone the intensity down, tone the duration down, and the movement patterns inside the workout to actually lift me up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that takes a lot of work, and if you don't know how to do that, hire a coach.
That's
like
skill.
This guy right here.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Hit me up.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Tell the folks where they can find you.
Dude,
and anything you have going on.
Yeah, we got a lot going on right now as far as the gym and the summer coming up. I mean, we're about to host the Murph. I don't know when this is going to be coming out, but Memorial Day is a week from today, so we have probably anywhere between 20 to 30 people coming into the gym, and it's the first time we're hosting the Murph workout for Capital Cardiology Associates, so I'll give them a shout out too. We're partnering with them, and they're going to come in, use the gym. We're going to put together a hard workout, because we know if you guys
doing the Murph?
I don't know if I'm going to do it yet. Because I want to coach them up. I want to make sure everything's flowing for them.
It's tough.
It's tough. But if anyone doesn't know what the Murph is, it's in honor of all of the ones who have served our great country. And is it Sean Michael Murphy?
I couldn't tell you. That's a Lone Survivor movie, like one of those guys.
Yeah, badass movie.
Yeah, Navy SEALs.
Yeah. So it's a mile run. It's 300 air squats, 200 push-ups, and it's 100 pull-ups, and then you top it off with another mile run again.
Yeah.
So we have everything mapped out. There's a little space you can run in the back of the gym, come back in, hit the workout. That's a little extreme. I mean, we got some badass people coming in and doing that, but anyone can do it. We're gonna have modifications and all that. Yeah. We have some events that we do with Bear Blends as well. They've got. We've got a good relationship with them as well. We're going to host a workout at their Latham location where they have a little bit of side, like I say, yard type of deal where we're going to host a workout.
Nice.
So the summer's going to be good. So we got some cool stuff going on as far as just like our everyday, like our athletes are back in the gym. Our adult fitness, our semi-private classes are great. So those are booming right now. So if anyone's got questions, you can find me at... so for our website is www.otmfit.com. My Instagram is a great way to get a hold of me too. I post a lot there.
Yeah,
as you see.
That's good.
Live in the stories.
Love it.
Demonstrate what our people do and who we train. That's Mike _Verschelden, and those will probably be the best two places to reach out and find out what we're doing on the move.
Cool. Well, get a hold of them if you're in the Clifton Park area and you want to get a good workout and be with a great community. Hit my boy Mike up here. Mike, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time and your friendship and everything that we've done, and more to come.
Dude,
right?
Much more to come. Appreciate
Upward
it,
and onward.
That's right. The best is yet to come, baby.
All right. Thank you, man.
Let's go.